tayo. Ayan tayo mga kamet. Ay, 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 ay. Ayan. Ayan. Ayan na, ayan na, ayan na, ayan na naman tayo mga kameta. Donald Trump, number 47, back to the White House in the coming months. Booyakasha, booyakasha. Good morning, good morning. Ayan, Tagalog boy. Ayan na naman tayo. Sabi ko sa inyo guys, sabi ko sa inyo. Marami talagang weaknesses talaga yung kabila. Tapos namin naman nagalit sa atin. Sabi ni si Richard, Ronald, ano bang sinasabi nyo? Ano bang nakikita nyo? Diba? Yan ang mga sinasabi ng mga weaknesses na issues. Immigration, economy, ayan na naman, di naman nakikinig yung mga dilawan sa atin. Ayan na, nanalo na si Donald Trump. So as you could see, we barely had enough sleep over the past 24 hours. At katulad ng sinabi natin, the first battleground states that you have to watch are Georgia and North Carolina. And by around 9:10 a.m. today, as soon as it became very clear that Georgia and North Carolina was leaning towards Donald Trump, and Pennsylvania was slipping through the hands of Kamala Harris, sabi ko, wala na, game over na yan. So basically, just to give you a dynamics of how the race works, hindi sabay-sabay binibilang, iba't iba yung mga batas, regulations when it comes to counting, especially yung mail-in ballots, and some states have more mail-in ballots than others. So hindi sabay-sabay nagtatransmit yung mga iba't ibang estado. Not to mention, obviously, the US is such a big country. It's a continental-sized nation, so there are time zone issues. So that's why, minsan, yung mga lumalabas initially are not necessarily an indication of sino talaga manalo. If you remember, last time, 2020, between Biden and Trump, there was also a Trump surge, a kind of a red surge mirage initially, but eventually Biden was able to close the show. Except it just took such a long time, and Trump being Trump, he was never gonna accept it, and hence all the conspiracy theories about, oh, they brought in illegal people, blah blah blah, and all of that nonsense. Now we can see under Biden and Trump, Democratic administration, here we are, booyakasha, fair and square. Nanalo na po si Donald Trump. In fact, as soon as I saw Pennsylvania was leaning towards it, then sabi ko, game over na yan. Because once you lose North Carolina and you lose Georgia, there's a lot of pressure on you to win Pennsylvania and do very well in Michigan and Wisconsin. But we were looking right and left, things were not looking good. The only areas whereby Kamala was looking a bit fine was areas where, siguro in one way or another, dahil galing doon si Liz Cheney and the Cheneys and all of that, in the northern areas of the country. But overall, I think the momentum was very clear. So I was, yes, medyo iffy ako kasi umaga-umaga pa lang kanina, I was saying na more or less implying na not only momentum is with Trump, but it's really, really looking for Trump. So dito talaga guys, masabi natin, mudeng one, Pulse statisticians, Nate Silver, Nate Cohen, lahat yan, zero. Yan, tama na naman si in fairness, tama si Mudeng. Ano na si Mudeng, yung cute na hippo. Pinili na yung Donald Trump. So here we are, more or less a clean sweep. And a clean sweep not only in terms of Donald Trump beating Kamala Harris when it comes to electoral college, and also for the first time since 2004, first time in 20 years, nanalo din ang mga Republicans when it comes to popular vote. All right, you have to be very much clear about that. AR, what are you talking about, man? Most likely, I've been to more places in the U.S. than you have. Most likely, I've talked to more more policymakers and experts than you. So don't give me your nonsense about it. All right, ayan naman tayo mga nagfi-feeling. Just because you live in a place doesn't know you know that place necessarily best than People who actually study the data statistics and talk to the experts and go around. I don't know about you guys. I've been in South Carolina this year, Georgia, Washington DC, California, North California, lahat, okay? That's just this year alone. All right, so wag kayong magyabang, wag kayong magyabang. Anyways, going back to this, bago tayo magbardagulan, and yung mga trumpers natin. Let me just explain to I'm just explaining to you guys the mechanism, all right? So the first one is North Carolina and Georgia. Then if you don't do well, dapat bawi ka sa Pennsylvania. Usually when it comes to Arizona, it takes a lot of time. Mas mahaba yung pagbilang dyan. Last time, more than 4 days. And then Nevada was also very key in this election. Had, for instance, Kamala won in Pennsylvania, kind of cancel out the early wins of Trump, then it would have gone down to the Sun Belts, and Nevada and Arizona. Then this could have taken a long, long time. But we didn't need to wait that long because Trump was able to flip one state after the other. A tremendous performance by Donald Trump in terms of winning over minorities. Of course, he didn't win like majorities of minorities per se, but he performed better than any Republican in recent memory among multiple minority groups. Kanina lang kausap natin yung kaibigan natin si Prashant, Dr. Prashant, who is of course from the Southeast Asian American background. So we're talking about the Indian American votes, South Asian American votes. Trump did very well among them. Gen Z, Trump did very well. I'm looking at some of the latest numbers coming out here. Also did very well, Trump, among Generation X. He also did very well among Caucasian women. So all across the board in all major demographics, he performed very well, and of course, working class Caucasian folks also. So, and yes, it's not only Trump is back. This looks like a trifecta big time. So as we talk, claro na, the Senate will also go to the Republican side with very big margin, and it looks like the Republicans will also hold on to the lower house. So that will be a trifecta for the first time in almost 8 years. You're gonna have all the three major contested offices or institutions going to the Republicans, but this is the difference kumpara nung last time na nangyari itong trifecta na to. The Supreme Court of the United States. Trump alone was able to nominate not one, not two, but three different Supreme Court justices. Very Catholic, very conservative, very Yale. I think at least two of them are from Yale Law School. So I think Irish background din yung mga iba. Kavanaugh, for instance. So you also have a very conservative Supreme Court. So this is not looking like a trifecta alone to me. This looks like a quad to me. A red quad, right? I think we have, for the first time, again, in recent memory, a Catholic majority Supreme Court. Or at least a conservative Republican majority Supreme Court. So big time talaga itong mga pangyari na kita natin. So the room for maneuver for Trump will be tremendous in terms of transforming American politics, pushing with his agenda, which is, I don't know, agenda, whatever, the 2025, whatever you want to call it, yung Heritage Foundation version, the regurgitated versions. So this is different. So that's the first thing that is different this time. Hindi lang siya trifecta, but you have a solid conservative majority in the United States Supreme Court. This is not just a red wave, this is like a red tsunami. All right. So yung room for maneuver for Trump is huge this time. Number two, the difference this time with the last time is that yung mga leaders ng Senate and House, I think Johnson is gonna stay as the Speaker of the House, and then I'm looking at a couple of also very MAGA-ish or younger figures, mga J.D. Vance-ish figures there. There are one or two candidates I've heard a lot about. So you can have both Senate and the House of Representatives led not by traditional Republicans, because the last time there was a trifecta, you have a couple of very traditional Republicans in charge. So minsan may tension pa yung lower house and Senate and si Trump. This time hindi. It's not only a red wave. It's not only a red tsunami. It's MAGA tsunami. MAGA tsunami. This is what you're gonna see. Kaya the implications are immense. Of course, if you're with Trump, happy times, great times. Some would even say regime change times potentially, right? Because this is not just gonna be 4 years of Trump. It could be 4 years of Trump laying down the foundation for who knows, a very long time of MAGA politics. J.D. Vance is extremely, extremely young. Extremely, extremely young. He just turned 40, if I'm not mistaken. So, J.D. Vance could pick it up for another 8 years, assuming, assuming hindi na binago yung constitution and all of that. So, we are talking about an unprecedented moment, guys. Not only the first popular vote victory by a Republican in 20 years, we're looking at a trifecta plus a Supreme Court that is extremely conservative, and not to mention this is not a red trifecta but a MAGA trifecta. And the vice president also this time is different. It's not Pence, who was again a much more traditional evangelical Republican. This time, what you have is a MAGA ideologue in the person of J.D. Vance. So sobrang iba talaga siya this time, guys. So yung mga nagsasabi na we're just gonna get more of the same, I don't think they know what they're talking about. Moreover, this is not the same Trump. The Trump of 2016, if you listen to the interview of Joe Rogan, 2-3 hours, aminado si Donald Trump naman na talagang hindi siya familiar, obviously. First time niya, imagine, first time mo lang tumakbo sa government, naging presidente ka ba, diba? And he was saying how surreal it was to see the bed of Lincoln there. I didn't know Lincoln was 6'6". He was that tall. He was saying, and he didn't know how things work. This time is different. Very prepared si Donald Trump. And he has really loyalist, seasoned people who are gonna come in. And if he were to also employ Schedule F. So Schedule F is a mechanism by which Donald Trump can also get rid of so-called deep state or national security elite bureaucracy of the United States and put there a lot of MAGA loyalists. So this time is going to be very, very different. So let me emphatically disagree. Doon sa mga nagsabi, oh, we have seen this act before. It's going to be more of the same variation and theme. I don't think so. I think this is not a question of arithmetic. I think this is a question of exponential change, exponential growth. So whatever we saw from Trump during the first term, what we're going to see this time is Trump on steroids, MAGA on steroids, a much more organized, long-term looking, much more formidable and transformational form of Trumpian politics. So kaya hindi ako nagtataka na panic yung kabila. Not to mention, also this time, the difference is, ang dami ng mga grievances ni Trump, right? Of course, his narrative is he has been a victim of witch hunt, from the Mueller investigations into his supposed Russian links, to his conviction, to ongoing criminal investigations, to not one but 2 impeachments. He has mentioned Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff. So we might, after all, see even a more vengeful version of Trump in the coming 4 years or so. So I think people are people are not understanding what's going on here. This is going to be a completely different Trump, next level Trump, right? Again, if you agree with him, obviously this is great. If you do not agree with him, this is extremely, extremely troubling, right? So depending on where you stand on this issue, but this is the fact of the matter for me. So these are some of the changes that we're going to see as far as Donald Trump's 2.0 version is concerned. Now, before I go and go to Donald Trump's own victory speech, great guy, amazing guy. Before we go to Donald Trump's own speech, let me give some thoughts on ano bang implication nito, hindi lang sa Democrats sa Amerika, pero para sa akin, sa liberalismo as it stands nowadays. This kind of identity politics focused liberalism that we have nowadays, right? I think there are huge implications here. And yes, it has implications for the Philippines. Right off the bat, let me say this. If you really dig deep, yes, nakakatuwa yung narrative ng mga DDS na sinasabi na ayan, pagbalik ni Donald Trump, ililigtas niya si Digong kasi beshi sila ni Digong. Like, what are you talking about? The Marcoses have a great relationship with Trump for a long time. Trump doesn't care about the Dutertes or whatever. I mean, Trump is gonna deal with Marcos, and Marcos knows exactly how to deal with someone like Trump. All the Manhattan days, all the Imelda Trump social partying days, etc. So, in that sense, delusional yung sinasabi ng mga DDS na friend natin. But, in one sense, they're not delusional. I think what we should learn from this. Meaning, si Trump, medyo chamba nanalo nung first time, di nanalo nung second time, after 4 years. And after everything, bumalik pa at nanalo pa ng mas malaki. His performance was even way stronger than 2016. In fact, didn't he get like the most number of votes ever for a US presidential candidate? I have to double check that. But going back to this, guys. Um, yes, the Dutertes can come back strong also by 2028 and even win this. I think you should never, never underestimate the ability of populists to come back with vengeance and stronger. Kaya I keep on invoking yung very memorable vote ni Ralph Waldo Emerson. If you strike at the king, I'll paraphrase it to make it more politically correct, finish the job. Because if you go for it and then you don't finish the job, it will come back to haunt you. And that's exactly what Trump did. They tried to impeach him once. They tried to impeach him twice. They tried to launch investigations. But they never went all the way. And in fact, the more they failed in terms of, putting Trump behind bar or whatever, or pinning down, the more he became a hero. At the same time, he was both a hero and a victim. And that's a very potent political combination. So, the lesson for BBM and for opposition in general is clear. For BBM, the lesson is very clear. It's already war. War mode na. If you don't strike down and pin down the Duterte for good, they'll come back to hunt you. Maybe in these elections, in 2025, maybe because, machinery of the state, etc., BBM team will not do too bad. But, as we saw with the Senate hearing recently, BBM has very limited influence on the senators. And the senators are looking after their own interests. Now, imagine these senators after 2025 and by 2026 and 2027, lame duck na si BBM. So, the lesson for BBM is very clear. BBM is not a Democrat. He's not our Kamala. By the way, it's Kamala. Okay? Yung mga nagmamaganda dyan, oh, Richard, you have to pronounce it well. Tapos sabi niya, guys, I just talked to my friends from, who know the language. It's Kamala. Okay? Anyway, whether you want to say Kamala, no, I'm not saying that. But, the lesson for anyone is this. If you go against a populist, demagogic, whatever you want to call it, Trumpian, Duterte figure, if you don't see it through, believe me or not, they'll come back and they'll come back even stronger. And after everything the Dutertes are going through, if they survive this, if they make it to 2026, 2027, huwag kayong magtataka. Pagdating ng 2027, 2028, sila pang bida, sila pang biktima. Napakalakas na kombinasyon niya. Bida ka nga, biktima ka pa. Once you have those two elements together, you are almost unbeatable. Especially you have the populist playbook, which the Dutertes are maestros of. So the lesson for BBM is very clear. But that's not the end of the story. For me, the lesson is even clearer for the liberal progressive opposition in the Philippines, particularly liberal opposition. Because kung titingnan nyo, what happened tonight was a MAGA tsunami, not only a red wave, it was a MAGA tsunami that in many ways was repudiation of the kind of liberalism that Obama and the establishment Democratic Party represented. With all due respect and all of that, I think at this point in time, and I was talking to my American friends who are from minority backgrounds, whether South Asian, East Asian, Southeast, they were saying, actually, kung kinausap mo maraming tao, especially mga professionals, doctors, I don't know, hoteliers, businessmen, hindi sila bumoboto sa isang kandidato dahil similar yung lahi nila, supposedly, or similar yung... Tinitignan nila yung personalidad. Tinitignan nila yung polisiya. Actually, maraming Asian Americans, or even Latinos, voted for Trump because they wanted less tax. They wanted stricter policy on immigration. They were not very happy with the management of inflation. They were not very happy with cancel culture or woke culture or whatsoever. So I think yung whole Obama-ism, if I can put it that way, the whole Obama-ism of, this is about, creating, wait lang, may troll tayo dito. May ibang bayaran tayo. Ibang klase talaga itong mga bayaran na to. Imagine nyo guys. Kahit hindi Pilipinas ang pinag-usapan, medyo tinitroll pa rin. Going back to this, we are very much seeing yung repudiation of yung Obamaism democracy, right? This democracy that focuses more on identity politics, representation, but not yung important issues that has been raised by the Bernie Sanders of this world. And not to mention, in fairness to Biden, despite all of the weaknesses that Biden has, Biden always understood that it's important that you deal with the socioeconomic class issue, that you deal with the anxieties of Americans who are hurt by inflation. But in the case of Biden, obviously inflation hindi na makontrol because unfortunately may kinalaman din yan sa international factors, including Ukraine war, etc. But Biden, for instance, understood that you have to reassure yung mga Amerikano na mga wala ng trabaho dahil sa, rise of the electric car, right? With the emergence of EV and electric vehicles, etc. Transition to renewable energy. So, if you look at it, isa sa mga kahinaan ng mga Democrats is I don't think they had a convincing narrative of reaching out to folks in the Rust Belt, reaching out to working class folks, a lot of sectors, right? Old industrial sectors who are going to be really decimated or very negatively affected by transition to renewable energy and all of these great things that liberals love. Now, of course, I am for renewable energy. I am for transition. But it has to be done in a way na hindi mawawala na maraming tao at tapos pababayaan mo lang sila. So, it's not only repudiation of identity politics a la Obamaism, but it's also a repudiation of globalization. An economic globalization that puts, that prioritizes capitalism, international trade, etc. You know what's funny? I used to hear the same rhetoric and argument from the likes of Bernie Sanders in the past. You know who I've been hearing this from in the past 6 months? J.D. Vance. This whole argument that you have to take care of the working class Americans. This whole argument that you have to bring back jobs to America. This whole argument of onshoring, made in America. Actually, Biden got it. Biden also had his own version. But in this case, I think the Trump side had a far better case to make than the other side. And not to mention, dito feeling ko si Kamala nagkaroon ng what I call the Mar Rojas problem. There's no way you're gonna win elections in a cycle where people want change, and then ikaw kunyari vice president ka or anointed successor ka ng outgoing president, and then hindi ka mag-dissociate ng sarili mo dyan. So I think Kamala didn't do a very good job of saying, I will be better. I will be better than Biden on inflation, on immigration, on Gaza. On a lot of these issues, she was either wishy-washy or just avoiding the issue and all of that. So, I can go on and on about this, but I think fundamentally, what we're realizing here is something even more profound. And the more profound thing is, whether you hate him or love him, and I think a lot of people are very critical of him for good reason, Donald Trump comes off, that's the operative term, as authentic. As authentic because wala siyang pake sa script, right? Instead of doing the SNL of this world, instead of doing the MSNBCs of this world, instead of doing, I don't know, yung mga 2-3 minutes or 6 minutes or 10 minutes interviews, Trump did Joe Rogan. And Trump did Joe Rogan for almost 3 hours. You know the other guy that could do that is Bernie Sanders. So this is the strength of Trump. He represents capitalism. He represents conservatism. At the same time, he has the populist touch, the working class touch of Bernie Sanders. And also, he had no shame. I saw Trump on Lex Fridman. I saw, was it Patrick Ben-David, the Iranian-American podcaster, PDB, right? I saw him on Joe Rogan. He was all over the place. And he performed pretty well in a sense that sobrang subdued, sobrang almost thoughtful. And then yung tone niya, even self-critical. And then compare that to yung mga podcasts na ginawa ni nung kabilang camp. No offense. It's not even close. And Joe Rogan multiple times reached out to have that podcast interview with Kamala. And Joe Rogan said, this is not about politics. I just want to know who you are. Because a lot of people, I mean, hindi rin kasalanan ni Kamala yan because as I said, she didn't have enough time to define herself. Ilan months lang yung time niya. Unlike Trump, unlike Obama, unlike Biden, they were able to build their national profile over years. And my other also hypothesis on this is she also had to tone down her prosecutor side and not to also overemphasize her minority background precisely because she wanted to play safe, kumbaga siguro, no? for many reasons that we can discuss separately. No, so I think the Joe Rogan interview would have been an important and very crucial opportunity for Kamala, right, to come and talk to Joe Rogan and show the mettle of her leadership, the dexterity of her mind, the whole spectrum of her interest. Talk about many things she's interested in. It could be sports, about cooking. I'm sure. I mean, Joe Rogan is Italian, right? Irish Italian, but he was raised an Italian. I'm sure he loves food. Maybe Kamala could talk about food, calories, diet, things like that. Sports, basketball. San Francisco, for instance. There's just so much. And no ayon kay at least the Joe Rogan side, ang nangyari pa, siya pa yung request na pumunta doon, tapos 1 hour lang binigay sa kanya. That was not gonna, it's not gonna be a Joe Rogan experience if you're gonna be your standard 1 hour, tapos ikaw pa mag-fly. It's not gonna be Joe Rogan anymore. Why Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump had to go all the way to the studio of Joe Rogan and do the multi-hour normal show. Pero sa kanya, in fact, probably it would have been even worse. Kasi kung 1 hour lang, tapos parang mukhang scripted pa, and you could see in the face of Joe Rogan na parang hindi siya komportable because it's not his usual setup, baka it could have backfired pa even more. But the fact that Kamala's team did not reach out to new thought leaders, new platforms, spontaneous platforms, I think came back to haunt them. Now, which brings me to the other point. I can go on about this and balikan natin over the coming days. Like, as you can see, nasisipon na ako because I'm exhausted since umaga pa tayo dire-diretso. I'll tell you this. There's a big lesson also we saw. We saw this in 2016. Nakita natin yan sa 2022 at nakita natin ulit yan ngayon. Hindi lang sa Amerika. Yung pag-endorse ng mga malalaking artista, not only it does not assure you good electoral performance, it may even backfire when you're against a populace who is willing to do the spontaneous podcasters, thought leaders ones. Because yung populist yung lalabas na talagang anti-establishment, which is what populism is all about. So, ironically, Trump came off as not only a victim, a champion, but also as the anti-establishment guy. Because no A-list artista or celebrity was backing him up. That he had, like, Hogan, mga D-list guys, whatever. But he did spontaneous platforms. He did Lex Friedman. He did PDB. He did Joe Rogan, and so on and so forth. So he came off as more authentic. He came off as more relatable. I remember very well this interview that New York Times did with a couple of young folks in Wisconsin, which is supposed to be a very democratic place, at least in the past. And Wisconsin, particularly universities, one of the top universities, Madison. There were a lot of guys, young guys, who were saying, yeah, Trump is this and that, but, parang masarap kausap si Trump, parang relatable siya. Parang siya lang yung tito or lolo na pwede mo lang kausapin, yung relatability factor. This is very important. And kaya nga sabi ko, yun yung strength ng mga populists. And Duterte, he also has that relatability factor. You may not like his tone, you may not like his cussing, you may completely disagree with him. But you may find him more relatable or easy to talk to, or at least, quote-unquote, more human. So, yung strategy na, yung strategy na you get these campaign experts, you get these top-level artistas, you do this 2 or 3 heavily scripted, pa-cute interviews here and there, it's not gonna work anymore. It's not gonna work anymore because hindi na gatekeeper yung mainstream media. Hindi na gatekeeper yung mga usual opera celebrity types. Iba nang gusto ng tao ngayon. Iba nang gusto tayo. Now, I see there are a lot of comments there. Yes, there were a lot of other mistakes. I mentioned that already kahapon pa with sila Ronald among others. I think another mistake of the campaign of Kamala's team was they didn't have a very effective also approach, dealing with some of the key minority groups. So, for instance, in Michigan, I think she lost Michigan, didn't she? And some of the swing states, there's a strong Arab American presence. And I really think they took that constituency for granted. Because takot na takot kayo kay Trump kasi alam niyo si Trump, best friend ni Bibi, ganyan. Okay. And they took them for granted. And it was only towards the end, literally towards the end of the race, that Kamala made this speech na I'll do everything in my power to end the Gaza war. And yet she didn't still criticize the war. And worse, she openly flaunted being supported by neocons like the Cheneys. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? These are the Cheneys, are the neocon Republicans who supported the disastrous wars in Iraq, among other places. So that's why, ironically, you now have Donald Trump presenting himself as the man of peace. And now let's look at his victory speech. Of course, we'll not go through the whole thing, mahaba haba. This is Trump, but there's a very important line there when it says, I won't start wars, I will stop wars." All right. Now, we can have a long conversation about whether that's really going to happen. I have my doubts. I have my worries. I want to see who's going to be his team. I heard Pompeo could be his defense secretary this time. There could be a lot of hardliners in his cabinet. So there's a part of me that is not as much worried about Trump than people is going to bring over. That could be more hardline than him and get US into war and trouble, especially in the Middle East. That's definitely my worry. But nevertheless, I'm talking about tactics and optics and communication. Dito mo nakita talaga yung strength ng Trump campaign kumpara dun sa kabila. That's it, my man.
Thank you very much. Wow. Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement.
Great people.
This is a movement like nobody's ever seen before.
Yes, always said nobody has ever seen that. Greatest, amazing.
Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement
Greatest.
of all time. There's
Oh.
never been anything like this in
Oh
this
my God.
country.
I don't know.
And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before. Nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Of course. Great guy, amazing guy, wonderful guy.
And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
Great guy.
This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again.
Yun. Hindi naman simple lang kaya sabi ko kay Mark Gambo, wag yung mga mahabang
In addition to
manifesto.
having won the battleground states of North Carolina, I love these places.
Love North Carolina.
Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
Michigan, walang Michigan.
We are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes. But
Golden age, golden age.
But it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path.
Mudeng called it first.
We also have won the
Ay, sorry. Well.
won the popular vote. That was great.
Yan ang flex. More than 70 million votes. 75 ba? Papunta ng 75.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Winning the popular vote was very nice. Very nice, I will tell you.
Very nice.
It's a great a great feeling of love. We have a great feeling of love in this very large room with
Very large.
unbelievable people standing by my side. These people have been incredible. They've made the journey with me, and we're going to make you very happy. We're going to make you very proud of your vote. I hope that you're going to be looking back someday and say that was one of the truly important moments of my life when I voted for this group of people.
That's
beyond
it.
the president. This
That's
group
it.
of great people.
Great people. Amazing people.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate.
Yun.
We have
Mandate.
taken back control of the Senate.
That's what I'm saying. Yan na, trifecta.
And the Senate races in Montana, Nevada, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, were all won by the MAGA movement. They helped so much.
That's what I'm saying. It's not red wave, guys. It's a MAGA wave.
And in those cases, every one of them, we worked with the senators. They were tough races. And I mean, the number of victories in the Senate was absolutely incredible. And we did tele-rallies. We did tele-rallies with each one of them. And sometime we did 2 or 3 and it was amazing to look at all of those victories. Nobody expected that. Nobody. So I just wanted to thank you very much for that. And you have some great senators and some great new senators. And it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives.
That's it. Trifecta.
And I want to thank
Wipe out.
Mike Johnson. I think he's doing a terrific job.
That's it.
Terrific
He's
job.
gonna keep his job,
I
Johnson.
want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady.
Yun.
Who has the #1 best-selling book in the country. Can you believe that?
Yan talaga eh. Yan talaga.
Oh, no, she's done a great job. Works very hard. Works very hard to help people. So I just want to thank her. But I want to thank my whole family, my amazing children, and they are amazing children. Now, we all think our children are amazing. Everybody here thinks their children are amazing.
Everyone.
That's a good thing when you think they are. But Don, Eric, Ivanka, Tiffany, Barron, there's Laura, Jared, Kimberly, Michael, thank you all. What a help. What a great. My father-in-law, Victor, is tremendous, and we miss very much Melania's mother, Amalia. We miss Amalia, don't we, huh? She would be very happy right now, standing on this stage. She'd be so proud. She was a great woman, that one. Beautiful inside and out. She was a great woman.
Yun yung family values. Yun yung emphasize niya, di ba?
Our great, now I can say, Vice President-elect.
Yun! MAGA future!
And his absolutely remarkable and beautiful wife, Ushabez. And he's a feisty guy, isn't he? You know, I've said, go into the enemy camp, and you know the enemy camp is certain networks. And
There we
a lot
go.
of people don't like to, sir, do I have to do that? He just goes, okay. Which one? CNN, MSDNC? He'll say,
There you
right,
go.
thank you very much. He actually looks fun. He's still like the only guy I've ever seen. He really looks forward to it, and then he just goes and absolutely obliterates them. Say a couple of words. Well,
Grabe ah. Pinabasa ko lang yung libro
Well,
niya
Mr.
kahapon.
President, I appreciate you allowing me to join you on this incredible journey. I thank you for the trust that you placed in me. And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America. And under President Trump's leadership, we're never going to stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
See, hindi siya nagsalita masyado. He's good. He knows. Don't outshine the boss.
Thank you very much.
Keep it short and sweet.
He's turned out to be a good choice. I took a little heat at the beginning, but he was. I knew the brain was a good one, about as good as it gets. And we love the family, and we're going to have a great 4 years, and we're going to turn our country around, make it something very special. It lost that little thing called special. We have to make it so. We're going to make this so great. It's the greatest country and potentially the greatest country in the world by far. And right now we're going to just work very hard to get all of that back. We're going to make it the best it's ever been. We can do that. If we had to wait longer, I don't know. It was going bad, and it was going bad fast. We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. Let me also express my tremendous appreciation for Susie and Chris, the job you did. Susie, come here. Come here, Susie. Chris, come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you. The ice maiden, we call her the ice maiden. What? Come on, Chris. Come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay in the background. She's not in the background. Come here, say something.
Say something. This wasn't expected, but I just want to thank, obviously, President Trump for this journey. It was a great one, and he's a hell of a candidate. And he's going to be a hell of a great 47th president. And this team that we had, the best team, and, of course, even my boss, Susie Wiles, the best. Thank you.
Yeah, keep it sweet. Keep it short. Let Trump talk. Magaling. They know how to deal with the guy if they talk more than 1 minute.
Susie. They're great. Everybody up here is great. Everybody up here is very special. But the Trump, who did you say? Oh, let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon.
Oh my gosh.
Now he's an amazing guy. We were sitting together tonight. You know, he spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia and different parts of Pennsylvania campaigning. You know, he sent the rocket up 2 weeks ago, and I saw that rocket. I saw it coming down. I saw it. When it left, it was beautiful, shiny white. When it came down, it didn't look so pretty. It was going 10,000 miles an hour, and it was burning like hell. I said, "What happened to your paint job?" He said, "We've never made a paint that could withstand that kind of heat." And but I saw it come down and turn around. And it was, it's like 22 stories tall, by the way. It looks a little smaller than that, but it's big. And it came down, and you saw that fire burning. And
That was impressive. That was an engineer.
Elon
That
can do
was
this. It
fairness.
must be an Elon. And I told the story. I told it last night. I had a man on the phone. I had the screen muted, no sound. I was talking to a very important man, happens to be here. And that very important guy, one of the most important people in, I would say, the country, actually. But, I was president, and now it looks like I was going to be maybe president again, so I figured I could ask him to hold. So I asked him to hold. And especially because you're going to be president again, they hold. So I took the phone down, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm seeing this crazy thing that's going around and coming down. It looks like it's going to crash into the gantry. And I said, oh no. And I said, do me a favor, do you mind holding for a couple of minutes? I want to see this. I thought it was a space age movie or something. I put the phone down, bed, but I didn't pick it up for 45 minutes and he was holding. But this spaceship came down and I saw those engines
Spaceship.
firing and it looked like it was over, it was going to smash. And then I saw the fire pour out from the left side and it put it straight. And it came down so gently and then it wrapped those arms around it and it held it. And just like you hold your baby at night, your little baby. And it was a beautiful thing to see. And I called Elon. I said, Elon,
He's poetic in his own way. I say.
he said, yes, it was. I said, who else can do that? Can Russia do it? No. Can China do it? No. Can the United States do it other than you? No. Nobody can do that. I said, that's why I love you, Elon. That's great. And you know, when we had the tragic
Tingnan natin gaano
hurricane,
katagal yung alliance nila.
and it hit, in particular, it hit North Carolina. They were really devastated. The water. This was a big water, as big as we've ever seen. Water hurricane. It built lakes out of nothing. Fields became lakes, and the danger was unbelievable. And the people from North Carolina came to me and they said, "Would it be possible, at all possible, for you to speak to Elon Musk? We need Starlink." I said, "What's Starlink?" It's a form of communication. So I called Elon. And I'll tell you what, he had, and it was very dangerous. People would die. They had no communication. All the wires were down. I called Elon Musk. I said, Elon, you have something called Starlink. Is that right? Yes, I do. What the hell is it? He said, it's a communication system that's very good. I said, Elon, they need it really, really badly in North Carolina. Can you get it? He had that there so fast. It was incredible. So, and it was great. It saved a lot of lives. He saved a lot of lives. But he's a character, he's a special guy, he's a super genius. We have to protect our geniuses. We don't have that many of them. We have to protect our super geniuses. I want to thank some of the guys. You know, we have up here today the U.S. Open champion. He's a fantastic golfer, slightly longer than me. It's a ball, a little bit longer than me. Just a little bit. Bryson DeChambeau is up here someplace. What happened to Bryson? Where is he? Bryson. Oh, he was shot. He's hitting balls. Oh, he's on the way. He's hitting balls. Bryson. Oh, look at him. Got a great career going. Great U.S. Open, Bryson. That's a fantastic job. And we also have a man, Dana White, who has done some job.
UFC. Yan.
He's a tough guy. So
Dana White.
started UFC and came to me. Do you mind if I use your? Nobody wanted to give him Marines because they said it's a rough sport, a little rough. And I helped him out a little bit, and I went, and they said, this is the roughest sport I've ever seen, but I began to like it, and he loved it, and nobody's done a better job in sports. And you know, he's a very motivational kind of a guy, what he does. He gets these fighters, and they really go at it, and it's become one of the most successful sports enterprises anywhere at any time. It's doing so well. I'd like to ask Dana just to say a couple of words because people love to hear from him.
Nobody deserves this more than him, and nobody deserves this more than his family does. This is what happens when the machine comes after you. What you've seen over the last several years, this is what it looks like. Couldn't stop him. He keeps going forward. He doesn't quit. He's the most resilient, hard-working man I've ever met in my life. His family are incredible people. This is karma, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves this. They deserve it as a family. I want to thank some people real quick. I want to thank the Nelt boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, busting with the boys, and last but not least,
Theo Vaughn.
the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan.
Yun, that's it. Nakuha niya lahat ng podcasters.
And thank you, America. Thank you.
Theo
Have a good
Vaughn,
night.
ba si Theo Vaughn? Ah. Theo, exactly, right?
That is a piece of work.
I was just watching the
He's really an amazing guy. But most of all, I want to thank the millions of hardworking Americans across the nation who have always been the heart and soul of this really great movement. We've been through so much
Ayan,
together,
patapos na.
and today
Sorry.
you showed up in record numbers to deliver a victory.
Daldal
Like
na.
really, I probably like no other.
Hindi siya victory speech. Ano pala siya?
This was something special, and we're gonna pay you back. We're gonna do the best job. We're gonna turn it around. It's got to be turned around. It's got to be turned around fast, and we're gonna turn it around. We're gonna do it in every way, with so many ways, but we're gonna do it in every way. This will forever be remembered as the day the American people regained control of their country. So I just want to say
Tax
that
break na yung UFC.
on behalf of this great group of people, these are hard-working people. These are fantastic people, and we can add a few names like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And he's going to help make America healthy again. And now he's a great guy, and he really means it. He wants to do some things, and we're going to let him go to it. I just said, but Bobby, leave the oil to me. We have more liquid gold, oil and gas. We have more liquid gold than any country in the world.
Spontaneous
More than
siya. No?
Saudi
He's just...
Arabia. We have
He's
more
just
than
calling
Russia.
everyone right and left.
Bobby, stay away from the liquid gold. Other than that, go have a good time, Bobby. We're going to be paying down debt. We're going to be reducing taxes. We can do
Bitcoin.
things that nobody else can do. Nobody else is going to be able to do it. China doesn't have what we
Talking
have.
like a
Nobody has
radio.
what we
Yeah, he's
have.
like a
But we have the greatest people
radio
also.
DJ
Maybe
lang.
that's the most important thing. This campaign has been so historic in so many ways. We've
final.
built the biggest, the broadest, the most unified coalition. They've never seen anything like it in all of American history. They've never seen any young and old, men and women, rural and urban. And we had them all helping us tonight. When you think, I mean, I was looking at it, I was watching it. They had some great analysis of the people that voted for us. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. They came from all corners, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment, uniting citizens of
That's
all
true.
backgrounds around
Realignment big.
a common core of common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense. We want to have borders. We want to have security. We want to have things be good, safe. We want great education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars.
That's
4
it.
years we
That's what I'm
had no
saying.
wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time. But we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together, we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny, and we're going to achieve the most incredible future for our people. Yesterday, as I stood at my last stop on the campaign trail, I'll never be doing a rally again. Can you believe it? I think we've done 900 rallies approximately from them. Can you imagine? 901 something, a lot of rallies. And it was sad. Everybody was sad. Many people, I said, this is our last rally. But now we're going on to something that's far more important, because the rallies were used for us to be put in this position where we can really help our country. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make our country better than it ever has been. And I said that many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness. And now we are going to fulfill that mission together. We're going to fulfill that mission. The task before us will not be easy, but I will bring every ounce of energy, spirit, and fight that I have in
May
my
mga
soul
Russian pa
to the
tayong ano.
job that you've entrusted to me. This is a great job. There's no job like this. This is the most important job in the
Sino?
world.
Raymond Reddington? Sino yun?
Just as I did in my first term, we had a great first term, a great first term. I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises. Nothing will stop me from keeping my word to you, the people. We will make America safe, strong, prosperous, powerful, and free again. And I'm asking every citizen all across our land to join me in this noble and righteous endeavor. That's what it is. It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try. We have to try. And it's going to happen. Success will bring us together. I've seen that. I saw that in the first term when we became more and more successful. People started coming together. Success is going to bring us together, and
Man,
we are
so
going to
successful.
start
You're gonna get
by all
tired.
putting America first. We have to put our country first for at least a period of time. We have to fix it. Because together we can truly make America great again for all Americans. So
Bakit?
I want to just
May Russian
tell
tayo.
you what a great honor this
Trumpians.
is. I want to thank you. I will not let you down. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
That's it. Alright, that's it. Okay, wow. Sumakit ng leg ko. Marami pa tayong pag-usapan, guys. Let's keep it there. Let's let the dust settle. Baka pag gising natin bukas, ano na tayo, MAGA boys na tayong lahat. Alright. Theo Von, I didn't expect that. But anyways, baka when Joe Rogan went in, lahat sila wow. Wow. Crazy times. Amazing times. Greatest times. Wonderful times. Alright, guys. Good night. Maraming salamat. In my 20 years in journalism, never seen such a great candidate. Tingnan natin. So over the next month or so, the show will begin again. And kasama dyan is appointment of his cabinet position. As I said, the only thing I heard so far is Pompeo is being considered as Secretary of Defense, but we'll very carefully watch out for updates on sino ba ang mga pwede mag-land sa kanyang kabinete, because that could give you a lot of idea about what will be the actual direction of the second Trump administration's foreign and domestic policies. Maraming salamat, God bless, and talk to you soon. Pagod na, I'll talk to you guys soon. Salamat, thank you very much. Das vidanya to our friend, our Russian friends, pro-Trump friends.